What's happening, everybody? Pat Carr here with Solar Standard. Today we're going to do a little video on something totally different. Why people don't go solar, right? All you're going to hear is solar companies talk about, go solar for this. Are you sick of your electric bill? Did you hear solar's free? Today we're going to talk about why people don't go solar. Now, caveat, I believe that if you have a heartbeat, you have a roof that gets good sunlight for solar, and an electric bill, if you don't have solar, I think you're out of your mind. But I will touch base on a few of the reasons why people do not go solar. So one of the first reasons I see people not go solar is they make it about politics, right? And I don't care where you stand politically. I'm not going to talk about where I stand politically, but I run a lot of ads on Google, YouTube, Facebook, and our Facebook ads are actually tied to my personal Facebook account. And it's funny because we will run ads that are not political at all. It's literally just trying to grab people's attention to see if they're in solar, and they'll immediately go into a political rant about how pissed off about one side that they're on. So I have had people truly reject saving money and putting solar on their home or in their yard because they think it's against their political beliefs, which is absolutely asinine. Because, listen, the utility companies, they're not Democrats, they're not Republicans, they're capitalists and they're after your money. And we're trying to get some of that back. Now, one of the other reasons that people don't go solar is they see marketing. They'll see ads that'll tell them that solar's free. And then the solar company comes out. Now, mind you, we do not put any ads out that say solar's free. But there are a bunch of companies that put out ads that say solar's free. And then out comes the solar sales guy explaining the not really free solar program. And it pisses people off. It's deceiving. It's clickbait. Okay? Now, there is a program that they're presenting as free. It's known as a lease or a power purchase agreement. And yeah, you can get solar installed on your house at no charge. You're just getting the electricity produced by the solar at a rate that costs less than your utility company. But that's not free, so don't tell people it's free. So rightfully so, some people get upset because they feel like they're being lied to, and I can't really blame them for that. Now, another reason I've seen people not go solar is they have misconceptions about what solar is going to cost or what it's going to save them, right? So, for instance, I talked to a guy today, and he said, listen, Pat, I want to talk to you about solar. I'm really interested, but hey, I already met with a company. They said I'd only save $30 a month. So, okay, I don't know what that company showed you. I don't know what your electric bill is. I don't really know what your savings would be with our program. But let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. At this point, you know, if you went solar with that company, you would save $360 your first year with solar. That is, if I'm understanding that correctly, that's not enough for you to want to move forward and take control of your power. And he said, well, I'm not saying that. I'm just kind of missing clarity. But moral of the story, some people, you know, and I like to ask, right? They'll say like, oh my gosh, that solar that's way too expensive. I'm like, well, how much did you think it was going to cost? And let's say solar for their house was $30,000. Like, oh, I thought it was going to cost 10 grand. How'd you come up with that number? They usually don't really have an understanding or an answer. And everybody's definition of what's enough money to be saving to make a move is different for each individual. You know, for me, anytime I can take a never-ending debt, which is my electric bill, and I can turn it into a financial return, that's a no-brainer. Now, on top of that, not only have I turned it into a never-ending return, I've protected myself from inflation for the foreseeable future. And when we walk customers through what they pay for electricity today and what they're going to pay for electricity in the future, there's some pretty ridiculous numbers. And we're only basing that on normal inflation, not this crazy world that we live in today where everything costs double, triple year after year. All right. Now, another reason people won't go solar is they actually think it's too good to be true. I've walked customers through cash flow sheets and proposals for solar, and they can't believe that they would save $360 a year. They can't believe that the federal government would pay for 30%. And in my experience, that's usually just lack of education from whoever's talking to the client. If you explain properly to a homeowner, like, hey, this is what the federal tax credit is, this is how much it's valued at, this is how you get your money, and this is the state incentive, and this is how much you would earn every year, and this is how you get your money, it makes a little bit more sense, right? But I've totally walked customers through proposals like, this seems too good to be true, Pat. I can't even believe it. All right, cool. Don't listen to me. I'll call a customer right now that bought solar from me years ago. You can ask them how their experience is. Okay? Now, another reason people don't go solar is they heard a horror story about something that happened to someone with solar 25 years ago. For instance, I'm pretty sure it was like a hot dog factory or a Crown factory, something like that, 20 years ago that caught fire. I don't know if it was related to the solar or not, but I've heard customers bring it up, and they're going to remember this horror story from forever. Or they're going to hear about like the one person in Idaho that got solar from some crappy ass company and they did a crappy job. And just like most things, if you got your kitchen remodel done, if you pick the chuck in a truck and they're super cheap, it's probably going to come at a cost at some point. But people need to understand that technology, like anything in life, is dramatically different. And one of the nice things is as solar's progressed and as more people have done it, is the government, the states, the townships, they've put rules in place to protect homeowners. Like we have to follow certain electrical codes, certain fire setbacks. We have to have what's called a disconnect on every home. Now I've been in solar for just under 10 years. I've probably been a part of about 3,000 residential solar projects, a couple hundred commercial projects. Not one of them has ever caught fire. Not one of them has ever had an issue, anything like that. And they've all been built to code, and they all have to pass inspections before we can turn them on. Some people are just against solar. I don't really know why. I don't know what solar ever did to them, right? But sometimes we'll meet with homeowners like, I hate solar. Like, okay, what makes you say that? I don't understand that, right? I'm not like best friends with solar. Solar's not even a person. It's just a thing, How do you feel about your utility company? It's just an alternative source of energy. But we truly will meet people, or the best is like when we run those ads I was talking about, people will comment like vilifying solar like it's the devil. And I don't know if they hop on their utility company's Facebook page and like their stuff and tell them they're awesome. I'm just trying to show people a way out of all the money that they're spending. But I can't change the way certain people feel. And then lastly, probably the biggest one, I think some people are just scared to change. They've bought their power in a certain manner their entire life. They've always gotten this electric bill. They've always paid it. It's gone up a little bit every single year. They're conditioned. This is the normal world that they live in. The idea of like putting these panels on my house and like producing power on site, I think change freaks people out no matter what it is. Solar, life, fitness, relationships, doesn't matter. People are scared to change. It's pretty normal. So kind of our job is to walk people through what that change looks like, how it's not really that big of a deal, how nothing really changes in your house. Your appliances don't run differently. There's times where you're running off grid power. There's times when you're running off solar. You'll never know a difference. Your light doesn't flicker when it's switching in between. But that's definitely a big one that we've seen is people are they're afraid of something different. And our job is to educate people on what it looks like. And if it makes sense for them, we want to help them do it. So those are a few examples of why people don't go solar. Feel free to drop in the comments any reasons why you wouldn't go solar or you've heard people not go solar. We'd appreciate if you like and share the video.